not refrain from leaping up too. "Lie down, you damned brute!" cried the old man, raising himself on his elbow. "Bless you, you devil's creature!" When the dogs were quiet again, the old man resumed his former attitude and said quietly, "I was at Kovylyevsky on Ascension Day that Yefim Zhmenya died. Don't speak of it in the dark. It is a sin to mention such people. He was a wicked old man. I dare say you've heard." "No, I haven't." "Yefim Zhmenya, the uncle of Styopka the blacksmith. The whole district round knew him. Aye, he was a cursed old man, he was. I knew him for 60 years, ever since Tsar Alexander, who beat the French, was brought from Taganrog to Moscow. We went together to meet the dead Tsar, and in those days the great highway did not run to Bakhmut, but from Isalovka to Gorodish, where Kovylyevsky is now, there were bustards' nests. There was a bustard's nest at every step. Even then I had noticed that Yefim had given his soul to damnation, and that the evil one was in him. I have observed that if any man of the peasant class is apt to be silent, takes up with old women's jobs, and tries to live in solitude, there is no good in it. And Yefim, from his youth up, was always one to hold his tongue and look at you sideways. He always seemed to be sulky and bristling like a cock before a hen. To go to church, or to the tavern, or to lark in the street with the lads was not his fashion. He would rather sit alone, or be whispering with old women. When he was still young, he took jobs to look after the bees and market gardens. Good folks would come to his market garden sometimes, and his melons were whistling. One day, he caught a pike when folks were looking on, and laughed it aloud. Ho, 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 ho. "It does happen," said Panteley. The young shepherd turned on his side and, lifting his black eyebrows, stared intently at the old man. "Did you hear the melons whistling?" he asked. "Hear them? I didn't. The Lord spared me," sighed the old man. "But folks told me so. It is no great wonder. The evil one will begin whistling in a stone if he wants to. Before the day of freedom, a rock was humming for 3 days and 3 nights in our parts. I heard it myself. The pike laughed because Yefim caught a devil instead of a pike." The old man remembered something. He got up quickly onto his knees, and shrinking as though from the cold, nervously thrusting his hands into his sleeves, he muttered in a rapid, womanish gabble, "Lord save us and have mercy upon us. I was walking along the riverbank one day to Novopavlovka. A storm was gathering. Such a tempest it was. Preserve us, Holy Mother, Queen of Heaven. I was hurrying on as best I could. I looked, and beside the path between the thorn bushes, the thorn was in flower at the time, there was a white bullock coming along. I wondered whose bullock it was and what the devil had sent it there for. It was coming along and swinging its tail and moo. But would you believe it, friends? I overtake it. I come up close, and it's not a bullock, but Yefim. Holy, holy, holy! I make the sign of the cross while he stares at me and mutters, showing the whites of his eyes. Wasn't I frightened? We came alongside. I was afraid to say a word to him. The thunder was crashing. The sky was streaked with lightning. The willows were bent right down to the water. All at once, my friends, God strike me dead that I die impenitent. A hare ran across the path. It ran and stopped and said like a man, 'Good evening, peasants.' 'Lie down, you brute!' the old man cried to the shaggy dog who was moving round the horse again. 'Plague take you!' 'It does happen,' said the overseer, still leaning on the saddle and not stirring. He said this in the hollow, toneless voice in which men speak when they are plunged in thought. 'It does happen,' he repeated in a tone of profundity and conviction. 'Ah, he was a nasty old fellow,' the old shepherd went on with somewhat less fervor. 5 years